Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars and welcome to another PlayStation review. Today I'm taking a look at Parkitect on the PlayStation 5, although it is also available for PlayStation 4. Now Parkitect is another park management simulator game where you are put in control of building your own theme park. Now there's a few of these now available on the PlayStation. This is I think I paid $19.99 for this deluxe edition, and with the deluxe edition you get 2 DLCs included in that as well. So it's not what you would describe as an expensive game, and the game does kind of reflect that as well. It's not what you would call like highly polished or anything like that. There's no like funny characters talking you through, what's expected of you, like helping you design and build your park. In actual fact, it's very bare bones in that aspect. There's no speech at all. There is some form of tutorial here, but it is very, very bare bones, and in actual fact it's a pretty terrible tutorial, if I'm being honest. It's all text based, and the UI and the text when you first start this game is very, very small, very hard to read, and my suggestion would be to go into settings and you can increase the size of like the UI display and make it as big as you want, and it's just about manageable then when you increase the size of it. But yeah, it's a pretty uninspired tutorial, but what I will say, I tried the tutorial for about 15-20 minutes and I didn't like it. It was getting on my nerves, so I thought I'd just go straight into the game because I've played quite a lot of these type of games and I've got a pretty good idea how these games kind of work. So I did manage to kind of figure out how it worked without much difficulty, if I'm being honest. So if you do play a lot of like park management games, I don't think you're going to struggle too much. So you've got a couple of options when you go into this game. You've got a campaign option, which is exactly what it kind of sounds like. You go into it. The first park is the tutorial, but you can skip that if you want and go straight on to the next one. And each park, you've kind of got like different goals and objectives to complete before you move on to the next park. And that's really how the campaign works. And then you've got sandbox mode, which again is exactly what it sounds like. It is, you can build your own park from scratch without the, restrictions in the campaign mode, so to speak. Beyond that, that's it. There's no online mode, there's all that kind of stuff. It is just really a single player experience. It is a pretty chilled out experience as well, which is what I look for in a lot of these park management games. I don't want them to be too intense and in your face and, micromanaging everything all the time, because sometimes these park sims can get a little bit like that, where you're just micromanaging everything, how much salt to put in your drinks and all that kind of stuff. And there is aspects of that here, but it's not in your face mechanics. It is kind of manageable, and for that I'm really, really pleased about. So you go into this. You've got to kind of design your park from from the ground up. You go in, and the usual thing, you've got a small amount of shops that you're allowed to access, like burger shops and drink shops and pretzel shops and fruit juice shops, and you can obviously research more. There is a research facility that you can bring up and put resources into researching new rides and new shops and utilities. And that's pretty good because you get extra shops like balloons and all that kind of stuff, balloon shops and toy shops, etc. And then you've got a number of like rides as well that you can access early on in the game. Now, they kind of split into different categories, the rides. So you've got like calm rides, as they describe them, which, things like the teacups ride and the helter skelter and the carousel, things like that, quite gentle rides for the little kiddies. And then you've got thrill rides, which are like the next level up rides in regards to thrills, but then it's also got coasters. It's got monorails, track rides, things like that. It's got water rides. So it's got quite a large array of rides actually. Once you get into the game and you've got access to them all, there is quite a lot to choose from. Now, what I do quite like about this game is you've got to kind of, if you like the management side of it, you've got to kind of be a bit smart in how you kind of use your money here. Certainly in the campaign, obviously, sandbox is a bit different. And you've got to think about making money and making profit, because if you don't, if it looks like you're losing money hand over fist, it'll give you like 12 months to start maybe being profitable, or it'll shut your park down. So you can also go into all the rides and the entrance and change the fees for how much it costs to go on each thing. So you can kind of go and change, how much people pay when they're coming into the park, and it's actually quite forgiving. Some of these management games, you'll go in, change the prices, and immediately everybody kicks off in the park. Even if you just slightly change it, it's quite forgiving here in regards to the price changes. So, the first park in campaign, I kind of went a bit mad initially, and I was building all these rides. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh my god, I've no money left, I'm losing money here. So it took me a while to kind of get it back into being profitable. There is bank loans you can get as well, and all that kind of stuff. Advertising campaigns you can do to bring extra people into the park. It's also got like real-time events, so if there's like a fairly local park that has closed down, that will increase traffic to your park, increase your profits. You can check the guest satisfaction, so they'll tell you what they're happy with, what they're unhappy with, all that kind of stuff. You've got to obviously hire staff, so you need the usual things, like your security, your entertainers, your engineers, your haulers as well. So they will basically carry stock to your shops. So when you initially open a shop, there's no stock in there. You have to wait until the haulers get to them and fill it full of stock, which is quite a nice addition, actually. I didn't actually mind that at all. You don't see that a lot in these sort of games. And you've also got decorations. You can, make your park look as lovely as you want. There's also, a huge array of decorations, if I'm being honest. You've got to also make sure the amenities are sorted out. You've got toilets, you've got bins everywhere, benches for all your customers to sit down. So it's got everything you expect from a park management game at a fairly budgeted price. It's a fun, chilled out game to play. And it has a real challenge as well. It's nothing spectacular, but if you do like park management games, and I think you're probably going to be pretty pleased with this one, I think it's worth the money for sure, and I'm going to give it a fairly solid 7 out of 10. I know this is a game that I'm probably going to put quite a lot of time into, so it's worth checking out if you are a fan of these type of games. So thank you very much for joining me for this review.